If you recently clicked on a video for cost of living in South Florida and you found the content to be incredibly boring, then you're not alone, because I took several hours to source the data that you're gonna see here today, and man, let me tell you, it was boring. In this video, we're going to give you the 2022 cost of living in South Florida in a format that keeps you engaged, entertained, and educated. Let's go. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Life in South Florida with Sil and Joe.
Hello.
If you haven't already, take this opportunity right now to click the subscribe button below. Don't forget to ring the bell right next to it so you can be first to be notified whenever I drop brand new content of what it's like to live in sunny South Florida. If you didn't know, we are the broker owners of Reform Realty, South Florida Homes and Luxury Estates. And as much as we love to make these videos, we would love it even more to be able to help you with any and all of your real estate needs. So the information that you see popping up below is my direct contact information. I am the actual person who will be answering your calls, responding to your texts and to your emails. Never hesitate to reach out and ask if you have any questions specific to the real estate market or anything that you see on this channel. Also, if you love this content, don't forget to share this video with a friend or family member if you find it to be resourceful and engaging. Okay, so the easiest way for us to present to you the information is to break it down into 4 different categories.
Today we're gonna talk about housing expenses, utilities expenses, then also grocery expenses and daycare expenses.
Awesome, and to make it extra fun, today we're gonna play a little bit of a game. As I present to you each of the 4 different expense categories, Silvana is going to popcorn off 2 of her favorite South Florida pastimes. And we're gonna take a small little video adventure to those pastimes as I present to you the information. You guys ready?
I'm ready!
Silvana, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Excellent. Before we jump into housing expenses, everybody's favorite topic.
Bills.
Silvana, what's one of your favorite things to do in South Florida?
Well, living in Florida, definitely beaches.
Any particular beach or just all of them in general?
Well, all of them. Fun in the sun, relaxation.
We're gonna go to the beach now so you can see what that's like, and we're gonna talk about housing expenses in 2022. Okay, for our first category, we're gonna talk about housing expenses as it pertains to South Florida in 2022. A couple of prerequisites that you should know is the data that I'm providing to you today is located within 2 South Florida counties and broken up into 3 different regions: Broward County, South Palm Beach County, and North Palm Beach County. I also wanted to point out, the further north you go, the higher pricing average you're going to see. And so without further ado, we're gonna start in Broward County, where the nearest major city is Fort Lauderdale. In Broward County, the average pricing in 2022 for a single family home is $730,000, up approximately 17% from this time last year. If you're interested in purchasing a condo or townhome in Broward County, the average price point is approximately $345,000. North of Broward County is South Palm Beach County. A very familiar city in South Palm Beach County is Boca Raton. The average price in South Palm Beach County for a single family home is approximately $989,000, up 25% from last year. And if you're interested in purchasing a condo or townhome in South Palm Beach County near Boca, then you're gonna be looking at approximately $440,000. Now, just north of Boca Raton, we're looking at North Palm Beach County, where the average home price is approximately $1.2 million, up 29% from last year. And if you're interested in purchasing a condo or townhome in North Palm Beach County, then you're going to pay upwards of $500,000, $506,000 to be exact. So in summary, for a single family home in South Florida between both Broward and Palm Beach County, you're going to be spending somewhere around $750,000 to as high as $1.2 million on average.
Well, that's a lot of money.
Hey Joe, so those prices are pretty high considering that these houses are resale. What about the new construction prices?
Great question. So, not only is it a great question, but it's one of the most common questions I get as a realtor. If people are going to be stroking a check for $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 for a property, then how much is it cost to build a home in South Florida? Well, you're going to be surprised to find out that building a new construction home in South Florida is very subjective. Here's what I mean. You can get into a new construction home in South Florida for as low as $400,000 base price. Now, it's going to be 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms in Loxahatchee, Florida, which is beautiful, and I've sold several homes there over the past year or so. However, most people will agree that Loxahatchee, Florida is far away from the beach or far away from other major cities and things to do. Again, it is subjective because Loxahatchee is approximately 35, maybe 45 minutes from the beach and approximately 40 minutes or 45 minutes from downtown West Palm Beach. So it's a little bit of a trip. When I say base price, well, you get in the door for $400,000, but after you add your upgrades for your tiles and your recessed lighting and other things like impact windows, you could be well over $450,000 to $475,000 just to get into new construction for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, single-family home in Loxahatchee, Florida. Now, on the complete other end of the spectrum, you can see new construction in Boca Raton for as low as $1 million and as high as $2.5 million at Lotus Palm in Boca Raton, new construction site breaking ground in April of 2022. And so, it really depends on your family dynamic, it depends on your budget, it depends on where you want to live geographically. There are a lot of things that go into play in terms of what you would like to acquire when it pertains to new construction in South Florida.
Hey Joe, so what about the people that are not ready to buy just yet and they're considering rental just to put their feet wet here?
Another great question. So we get this a lot. More than ever, I'm getting tons of phone calls from people all over the country, in some cases in other countries, who are interested to move to South Florida. However, they're not ready to buy just yet. What they would like to do is to go ahead and rent first. Well, rental rates in South Florida are sky high. And I'm not saying this to discourage you from coming down here. I'm simply stating the truth. What I did was I took a cross section of rental rates over the past 6 months in Coconut Creek, Florida. The reason why I use Coconut Creek, Florida is because it's known as a upper middle class neighborhood. I think that if I had used a different neighborhood like Parkland or Boca Raton, the numbers would just be astronomical. Those are like luxury, high-end rentals, which there certainly is a market for. But in the interest of reaching a broader fan base of folks of whom which have been inquiring about rental rates, we're going to talk about Coconut Creek prices. Over the last 6 months, single-family homes, 3, 4, and 5 bedrooms have rented for $3,000 a month and as high as $4,500 a month in Coconut Creek, Florida. And I should also specify that a lot of these landlords, they are requiring that the tenant come up with first month, last month, security deposit, and the other 10 months out of the year. So 1 year in full up front plus security deposit.
Wait a minute, so that's pretty crazy. The fact that they're gonna put all this money up front, like 10 months, let's say that's about 40 grand a year.
Yeah, it's not crazy, it's actually kamikaze. People are stroking checks for 12 months rental upfront. And yeah, $3,000 a month, approximately $40,000 a year with the security deposit included in their payment. And these are the people who are getting lease agreements under contract, and this allows them to essentially put their feet in the water in South Florida prior to them purchasing after getting here. So rental rates, guys, along with housing rates, are going much higher.
I need more money.
Okay, so everything that we have talked about sounds pretty expensive. Is there any savings at all?
Great question. So, well, in this crazy kamikaze market, you're paying money hand over fist to get what you need, to acquire the property that you want within the time that you want it. So, Silvana, the answer is yes. There are opportunities for savings, and some of these opportunities our viewers are going to be familiar with. For example, in South Florida, in Florida as a state, there is no state income tax, whereas other states in the United States of America, like New York or Illinois or California, state income tax is very high. In some cases, as high as 10 or 11%. If you like hanging on to your money and that's an important thing to you, you then understand why so many wealthy folks and celebrities end up moving to South Florida so they can take advantage of the tax break in living here. So that's one example of savings. Another example of savings is that South Florida property taxes are slightly lower than the national average. Pretty interesting. So if you're gonna pay top dollar for a beautiful home near the beach, you can rest assured know that your property tax rate is slightly lower than the national average. Pretty cool, huh?
Very cool.
Let's talk about homeowners insurance. Many times when I speak to people who are from up north, New York, they come down and they get a homeowners insurance quote, and their first reaction is, whoa, holy smokes, Joe, this is way higher than I thought. What type of business do they have charging me this kind of money for homeowners insurance? And the answer is actually very simple. It's unfortunate, but it's simple. The unfortunate side is this. South Florida, historically speaking, is renowned for insurance fraud. It is. A lot of people do it down here. A lot of people participate in it down here. So because insurance fraud is rampant in South Florida, Florida. It's been like that for a long time. The way that the insurance companies offset that cost is by charging higher premiums. That's the one unfortunate reason why. The second reason why homeowners insurance comes at a higher rate in South Florida is because we live smack in the middle of hurricane country. Now, whether or not we get a hurricane is neither here nor there, because it's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. Now, we have not had a bad hurricane for a while. I don't remember when the last hurricane was. In fact, it was at least 5 years ago, maybe more.
Yeah, more.
It was a while ago, so we don't even remember the hurricane. We don't even remember the name of it. But what we do remember is the big hurricanes, and we do remember the big ones that came through. We never forget those names. Hurricane Andrew, Hurricane Wilma, for example, Francis, to name a few. So when hurricanes do come through, obviously, we're gonna see insurance premiums spike up, and that's going to contribute more to housing expenses in sunny South Florida. Not to be the bearer of bad news, but housing expenses are very high in Florida if you wanna live here. However, it's a very small price to pay, if you ask me, to go to the beach in the wintertime, to have your socio-political constitutional freedoms, and enjoy fun in the sun year-round.
Cool. So what about the HOA fees?
That's another major question that we get from people who are not from Florida that are moving down. If you are anything like my dad, if you mention the word homeowners association and how much it costs, he will freak out. Freak out. Freak out. There are so many people, not just in New York, of course, who don't like the thought of being governed by a third-party entity on their house. I get it. And I actually agree with it, and I understand it too. If I had it my way, I'd probably live somewhere else where there was no HOA. The fact is, in South Florida, there's a lot of HOAs. If I had to guesstimate, I would say about 95% of the properties that are located in South Florida have an HOA attached to it. So the average cost of an HOA that you would expect to pay is going to be anywhere between about $150 a month to as high as about $350 a month. Now, there are some circumstances where HOA fees could be higher, and I'm talking somewhere in the neighborhood of anywhere from $400 to $1,000 a month. But something like that is usually located within inside of a country club where you get a whole lot more amenities, which are inclusive of a golf membership and things like that, or you live in a high-end luxury condo association where the amenities are almost that of which of a hotel, a 5-star hotel. As long as it falls within your budget and as long as you value the usage of those amenities, then it might make sense to you. But the average that you would expect to pay for an HOA fee in South Florida is between $150 to about $350 a month. But now I want to point something out to you. Currently, where my wife and I live, we have 0 HOA fee. However, what do I pay for pool maintenance, lawn maintenance, cable internet? Check this out. Here's the value. I pay my pool guy $90 a month. I pay my lawn maintenance guy $115 a month. And I also pay approximately $150 a month for my cable Comcast internet. All in all, we're at about $355 a month out of pocket for those services. And when you think about it, if you live within an HOA and they're charging you $355 a month, you might get all 3 of those items and some extra stuff, like a community pool or community basketball courts or tot lots and other things that come within an HOA. It's important that you understand what's included in an HOA fee. And if you value those things, then that might be good for you. Don't let it discourage you from purchasing a home in South Florida just because it says Homeowners Association. Lastly, I also want to say this. You may have heard some horror stories about property managers who work together with the board of directors. Guys, I'm just gonna be upfront. Some of those stories are real. I've heard a bunch of nightmare disaster stories, but I've also heard a lot of good stories, or I should say no stories. The old saying is no news is good news. So typically if you don't hear any news about an HOA board or a property manager, then that just means they're just kind of doing their job and everything's fine, status quo. You only hear about the bad stuff. So again, don't be discouraged if there is an HOA. It would benefit you if you did a little bit of homework about the HOA, what's included, and maybe even talk to some people to find out how strict they might be on certain things or how cool everyone is in terms of the general equity of the interests of the people who live there. Whew, that was a mouthful, and rightfully so. But I wanted to make sure that you guys had all of the information as it pertains to your question. And by the way, if you haven't already, please take the opportunity to click the subscribe button below. Don't forget to ring the bell. You will be notified whenever I drop brand new content. We like to do this on a weekly basis. And always, it's our goal to keep you educated, entertained, and informed.
So next we have utilities, groceries, and daycare.
Excellent. Oh, and I almost forgot. Before we jump into utilities, did you guys forget? what is your other favorite thing to do in Florida?
Well, I know it's very similar to the beach, but boating is my second favorite thing to do here.
I think everybody likes boating in Florida, especially if it's on the intracoastal because you don't get seasick like me. My stomach doesn't do too well on the open ocean, on the open water, unfortunately. But intercoastal cruising, it's awesome, man. So we're gonna run with some intercoastal boating and we're gonna talk about utilities. Here we go. Utilities is pretty easy. I just shared with you some of my utilities as it pertains to lawn maintenance, $115 a month, cable Comcast, approximately $150 a month, pool maintenance, $90 a month, water bill, approximately $225 a month. I have to specify, I do own a pool with a hot tub. We run our sprinkler system at least 3 nights a week, and I live with 3 young ladies who enjoy taking very long showers. I specify that because those water fees are actually pretty high. Our Florida power lighting bill is approximately $150 a month. In the summer months, it could go as high as $200 if we're really cranking the AC, but we completely make up for what we spend in the summertime during the winter months because we actually turn the AC off completely and rarely use it ever at all. And so collectively, you can anticipate that our utility expenses are approximately $730 a month, give or take, depending on which month on average.
What about the rising cost of groceries?
Absolutely. So right across the board, all over the world, it's really no different. If this is not a surprise, I'm not going to bore you with the details. The bottom line is that the price of chicken, the price of bread, the price of milk and eggs are all going higher. Okay, so what does that mean for Florida? According to the Cost of Living Index, the price of groceries in South Florida is approximately 10% higher than the national average. So while 10% is a pretty big number, in all sincerity, it's not horrible. I mean, think about it. If you're paying $5 for a grocery product, that simply means that you're paying $5.50 for a grocery product in South Florida. Groceries can really become expensive depending on your family dynamic, however. If there's a lot of mouths to feed in your home, well, then that's something that you should absolutely consider. Speaking of mouths to feed, Savannah, what is our last category?
Last category is daycare.
Awesome. So daycare expenses in sunny South Florida are not much different than the rest of the country. In fact, according to several sources that I pulled on the internet, what I found was the average daycare cost for a child under the age of 4 years old is anywhere between $600 to approximately $800 a month for daycare. Obviously, the younger the child, the higher the cost. So if you have an infant, then the infant at daycare is going to be closer to the $800 a month range. And if you have a 4-year-old, then that child is going to be an expense of approximately $600 a month on the lower end. So in terms of expenses for your children, because we always want the best for our children, it's really not that bad.
Right.
I don't think so. Do you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I don't think so at all. That brings us to the very end of our video. We covered 4 different major popular categories as it pertains to cost of living in sunny South Florida, the 2022 edition. Did you have fun?
I had a lot of fun. How about you?
I did. I'd have more fun if we actually went and took a real boat ride.
I know, me too.
Should we go?
Let's go.
Let's go. Bye.
Bye.